Hi, this is Craig Severance from the Zero Energy Channel. Come join us as we work to address the challenge of moving toward a world with zero energy from fossil fuels. Hey, we actually are now, this is a very big day for us. We're getting to our roof and putting the plywood up for the roof. This is our very first piece, and Eric's finishing it off at the top. I had to do the ladder against the side with him holding it to get the edge. The plywood, according to our roofer, can be typically 1 to 2 inches shorter on the end than the metal roofing. The metal roofing then can act as a drip edge that keeps the water off that plywood, and so we're putting the plywood as far to the top as we can do it, and then coming off the end a little bit as a drip edge, and then the metal roofing is actually going to be about 1 inch longer. We have 82-inch long metal roofing here, and we're making the plywood 81 inches long. And there's lots and lots of videos on the internet from professionals on how to do roofing. I really advise watching those people. But one of the points they make is that you can, even in new construction, be a little bit off on square, and then you have to decide which edge is most visible and which edge you care most about. And for us, that's the gable end, and where it comes down on the rafter, it has to hit that rafter in the middle. So those are the same parallel edges, thank God. But it's not exactly square on the bottom, but that's not going to matter that much. It's not really going to show anyway. And if we really wanted to, we could trim that bottom off a little more square. But the metal roofing is going to be not trimmed, so I don't think there's going to be a need for that. But it really, I think I probably had to tell you that wasn't that square. Now you're probably seeing it, but you just choose which is the most important edge here, and unless you really want to start cutting your metal roofing to match the building, I think that's going to look worse. So we're going to come across here very carefully. In a minute I'll show you how we lifted that up. We don't have scaffolding, and this is totally a do-it-yourself thing, not OSHA at all. So do not do this at home unless you are wanting to be a fool like us. So but we'll show you how we got that up there. It seemed to work pretty well. Now we're going to show you our do-it-yourself method of getting this up on the roof, which is extremely dangerous, and do not do this at home. So here you can see what we did for scaffolding, temporary scaffolding. We have just about a 3.5 foot loft toward the front door, but we made that loft a whole lot bigger by adding temporary four joists that are just here between the rim joists. These last two here toward the ladder are temporary, just sitting there, and then we tack plywood on top of them to get some nice scaffolding to work on the rafters and the roof. The other, what you see there in the back, is a permanent loft structure. We threw plywood temporarily on it for the same purpose, and just left a hole in the middle for the ladder. And so we had plenty of safe places to walk while we were working on the rafters and the roof. So just a little tip that you can do if you have it. It really works well having the rim joist there to be able to do this. So that helped a lot with this process. We have now finished the plywood on both the 45-degree roof section and the dormer section, and the little 45-degree on the other side of the dormer. We didn't show you all the scrambling up on top of the roof that we had to do to get this screwed down. Our basic thing to stay safe was that every time we could reach it from the inside of the loft, just poking our heads up through the rafters and screwing it down that way. We did that for most of it without ever climbing on the roof. But then when we had to, we did, for things we couldn't reach. doesn't look that bad, but it actually is bad. These edges aren't exactly even to the drip edge side, the side that's facing us. They're even to the rafters, because that's what we were placing them on. And you're tempted when you're putting on the plywood to try to, well, we'll trim the plywood and make it perfect on all the edges if the house isn't square. But then what are you going to do? You're going to do the same thing with your metal roofing because it's perfectly square. So, no. Let the plywood be a little uneven. It doesn't really show that much on the drip edge side. We just put it on the rafters because they were square. Then we have square pieces of plywood that the metal roofing is going to go on, and which is of course manufactured perfectly square. So that was what we did. This is our plywood. We have some protection now. We'll have even more after the Tyvek sheet is on, which will shed the rain. So we're making progress.
Hello, my name is Eric. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up down below. Also, if you want to subscribe, that's good too. Join us on the Zero Energy channel.